take just a quick moment and acknowledge today. You're going to hear from our two legislative leaders, Speaker Mariano and President Spilka. You're going to hear from coalition leaders. You're going to hear from somebody from the impacted community, as well as from our lead sponsors. And before we invite our first speaker, I just want to thank Senate President Spilka. I want to thank Speaker Mariano, as well as their teams for putting together today. It is such a historic day, and we could to invite drivers to be a part of such a historic occasion. So let me just start off by giving the welcome to somebody who, without their leadership, we would not be standing here today. I had the pleasure and the honor to work closely with Speaker Ron Mariano. Please give him a warm welcome.
It is truly a great event that we're here for today, and you can see by the number of reps and senators that are standing behind me that this was a real group effort. It wasn't one person. It was a couple of people making a little noise in the House and a little noise in the Senate, getting my attention and convincing me that it was time. Although the very first meeting was not very convincing. Those of you who weren't at the meeting, I did send them on their way and say, you don't have enough votes. Because the governor had already told us he was going to veto it. And he did veto it. But because of the work of the coalition, because of the work of all you folks out there, we came back, they came back with some guarantees that they would have the vote. The argument, they changed the debate. You changed the debate. Made it into a public safety issue. And that's basically what this bill is. And I'm disappointed that our governor chose to veto it and ignore the public safety arguments and get hung up on questions that we think we answered properly for him. So I want to thank the Brazilian Workers Center and 32 BK for their work, because without them and without putting the votes together and changing the debate, we wouldn't be here today.
¡Woo! ¡Sí se puede! ¡Sí se pudo! ¡Sí se pudo! ¡Sí se pudo! ¡Sí se pudo!
But the work is not done, and that's the only bit of reality I want to bring to the celebration, and that is already we've seen the rattling of sabers by our friends who think that this is something about illegal aliens. And there's a recall petition being put together now, which we must argue against and keep harping on the fact that this is a public safety bill. It is about the families that are working in our communities, taking their kids to school and going to the doctors, being allowed to drive safely on our roads. And one of the partners in preaching this mantra has been the Senate President, and right now I'd like to introduce the Senate President for her remarks.
Thank you. Well, welcome to all of you who helped make this happen, helped make today such a celebration. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for fighting this fight. And thank you for public safety. Our roads will be safer because of this bill. Yes.
Yes!
People will need to learn the rules of the road. They will be safer driving. Their families, their children, and their cars will be safer. There will be less accidents. People will be able to drive. And the fact that so many of our law enforcement supported this bill indicates that even they realize that this bill will increase public safety and make our roads safer in every corner of our Commonwealth. This bill, though, however, goes beyond just public safety. When I became actually a state rep, 2001, 2002, one of my first meetings was with a group I represent, now is a city that has a very large Brazilian population. The needs for this bill started my position in favor back then of this bill in wanting to get this done. Because this is more than just public safety. In hearing so many speak, they were afraid. They had to drive their child to the doctor, their parent to work, themselves to work. Many of these folks were essential workers during COVID. We expected them to be at work, but yet we didn't expect them to drive. That doesn't even make sense. They need to be able to be a part of our community as much as any of us. Without fear if they're in an accident or stopped, that they could possibly be deported because they were driving. We needed to change that. And you helped the campaign, you helped grow the movement in our state to get people to understand that this was a public safety effort, this was an economic development effort, this was a family and community effort. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank all of you for doing that and understanding the power of your movement. I'd like to thank so many of the people and organizations involved in the Driving Families Forward Coalition, including Executive Director of the Brazilian Worker Center, Lanita Reason. DJ, SEIU, Executive Vice President, Roxana Rivera. Deputy Director of the SEIU Massachusetts State Council, Pablo. Thank you. And also the members of law enforcement that, especially at first, had the courage to speak out in favor of this legislation, including Chief Roy Bass with Lawrence Police, and of course, every single member of the immigrant community who had the courage and was brave that came forward to share their story and help make this happen. I would like to thank from the bottom of my heart the champion in the Senate Chair of Transportation Committee, Senator Brendan Crichton. Thank you. And thanks Senator Adam Gomez, who came in, hit the ground running, and also fought hard to make sure everybody understood Give a round of applause for Representative. I am just overjoyed to be here today. I'm Christine Barber. I'm the state representative for Somerville and Medford, and it is so amazing to be here with all of you to celebrate the passage of the Work and Family Mobility Act. I was going to start by thanking all of my co-lead sponsors, so bear with me, I will be brief. But Representative Carly Bouvier, Senator Brendan Crane, Senator Adam Gomez, an incredible team. We were on speed dial and talked much more probably than we talked to our families over the past 3 years, and really an incredible team. Our staff, my staff, and all of our staff working together were really incredible in putting this over the finish line. And what can I say to the Driving Families Forward Coalition? They are a force, especially the co-chairs who were just mentioned, who are incredible, and also the previous co-chairs, Natalia Tracy and Delina Rocha, who I see just came in. And the speaker was definitely right. They worked so hard to get law enforcement, attorneys, faith groups, business leaders, so many involved, and to talk about this as something that is an important public safety goal. This is a huge team effort. We had so many who worked on this. Chair Strauss made the bill stronger. Leader Moran gave us good counsel and advice. We had over 100 co-sponsors and so many members of the House and Senate, many of whom you see today, who worked so hard to get this bill across the finish line. But in particular, I want to thank Speaker Mariano. He met with us and worked with us and pushed us to build support, and was the first to bring this to a vote on the floor. I'm really grateful to the Speaker for that. So 3 years ago, people in my district in Somerville, leaders in the immigrant community met with me and talked with me about the fear in the community about driving children to school, driving to get groceries, and asked me to take a leadership role on this bill. I'm grateful that I did. It's been an incredible experience. We filed this bill to enable residents, regardless of immigration status, to get a driver's license, to get to work, get to the doctor, get their basic needs met. This law ensures that all drivers know the rules of the road and that our roads are safer for all. So the passing the Work and Family Mobility Act is one of the key things that we can do to improve road safety for everyone, and also to ensure that all residents feel safe and can get basic needs like healthcare. It's essential to economic mobility and allows people to actually participate in their community. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you to all of you for all of your work on this. I'm so glad that we are here to sign this bill today. I'd like to introduce my amazing co-lead sponsor in the House, Representative Carly Bouvier.
This has been a long time coming,
Yep.
right? To put this in a little bit of perspective, lore has it that it was one of our former colleagues, some guy named Marty Walsh. Anybody know him?
Yes. The mayor,
He first
ex-mayor.
filed this as a young new state rep. I don't know how many people were around at that time. I see Ronnie Miller back there. You might remember those times. But truly, I stand here today completely full of gratitude. And gratitude first and foremost to you, Mr. Speaker. It is your bold leadership that really broke the law down on this session. You worked with us, you pushed us, you made it better. And here we are today because of it. And I cannot thank you enough. I think we have a good partnership going here, Mr. Speaker, and I look forward to many more future successes, truly. And Madam President, every T, navigated every twist and turn, and made this bill get where it is. And then there's Senator Adams. Senator, you brought this thing home. And we from Somerville said, we talk to each other sometimes more than we talk to our families. There's a few conversations that his family was at the dinner table and he was talking to me. Saying, we got the sheriff, we got the DA, and that kind of thing made all the difference. My sincerest thanks, forever appreciation and deep respect goes to my co-lead sponsor of the House, Representative Christine Barber. Your advocacy, your strategy, your calm approach when things got tough made all the difference. I'm so fortunate to have you. Thank you so much. And to my staff, to the staff of the other offices, and to the Speaker's staff, we can't possibly do this work without all of you. To the House Progressive Caucus, you prioritize this bill, you strategize, and you mobilize to get this to the floor. And to the Black and Latino Legislative Caucus, it's your collaboration that did make a difference. And as everybody is doing, you can't underestimate the work, the strategy, the persistence of the Driver Families Coalition. You truly inspire me. The coming together of labor, faith-based communities, activists, and businesses from every corner of the Commonwealth. Energize, mobilize, strategize, all while staying laser focused on our goal. This policy change is clearly people-powered, and I hope that you personally know that you are making this Commonwealth better. And Juanita, Gustavo, Sam, the people whose shoulders you stood on, Dalida and Natalicia, look what you have done. Look what you have done. It is a public safety bill. It will require that all drivers in Massachusetts be trained, licensed, and insured. Among the many reasons, please listen to this part very carefully, among the many reasons law enforcement supports this bill is because the data is clear and factual. In states that have passed similar laws, hit and run accidents go down by 9 to 10%. That's a lot of hit and runs that are not happening. It makes our roads safer. And this new law has been the #1 ask of our immigrant neighbors. The simple act of driving to the grocery store, to medical appointments, and to schools is no longer something that has to happen in the shadows. No longer an act that could lead to family separation. One of the first people that talked to me about this bill were doctors from Children's Hospital who said that this bill, this policy change was necessary for their patients and their families. So, Mr. Speaker, Madam President, with this new law, we have greatly improved the lives of many and have made the Commonwealth a better place for us all. Thank you, and I would like to introduce my colleague, Senator.
Hard not to be overwhelmed standing up here. I've been blessed to work in this building for over 17 years now. Had a lot of exciting days, fulfilling moments, but nothing could compare to this moment at all. First, I want to say thank you to the Senate President for his steadfast leadership throughout this entire process, to the Speaker, to all my colleagues that are up here behind us, and to many more that started this fight many years ago, as representatives have outlined. And a lot of folks, as we got closer to getting this law passed, you asked us, what's the difference this time around? Well, we'll come into this room right now today. It's all of you. It's everyone who's part of the coalition. The chairs, the former chairs that are here today, it's so great to see all of you. It was everyone that testified, or wrote a letter, or contacted their legislator. It was everyone that had their voices heard, sometimes here at the State House, but other times in small meetings, and that was some of my early experience here as we were trying to build momentum to get this bill going. Sitting down one-on-one with families, you hear the parents talk about their fear and anxiety. But I think more impactful was listening rather, to the children. Some as young as my son, 6 years old, and talking about what it feels like to sit in the car, just going to school or to go to sports. Them sitting there shaking as they tell the story, barely being able to get the statements out. The fear, the uncertainty, and these meetings would almost always end up in tears. I'm proud to say that that conversation has changed now, and instead we're in conversations of hope, of certainty, of faith in a process, of having the voices heard, and those tears are no longer of sadness or fear, but they are of joy. It's thanks to all of you. I'm forever grateful to turn it over to my close friend who's made an amazing difference in this bill, Senator Adam Gold.
I gotta take this in because we come from an organizer's perspective. Sometimes miracles do turn into reality. I grew up in the most impoverished neighborhood in the state of Massachusetts. I still live on the same street that I grew up on, Laboral Street, in the Brentwood neighborhood of Springfield, north of Springfield, where I had the opportunity to work with a lot of new organizations throughout my career up to this point. The first time in the library, this is amazing. First time being able to accomplish something that all of us know that has been blood, sweat, and tears and has taken us this far. What an amazing task that this team has put together. Us as legislators, as tools, were absolutely utilized in the best ability. I know it took some time to get this done, but really big shout out to the ones that came before me, the ones that were steadfast, continue pushing this forward. I cannot say and just give back the flowers to Rep. Barber and Rep. Tricia because I'm going to be real. They are some fighters. And then to be able to team up, I call him. He's my close friend, but I got this little joke I call him Leo. To me, he's my Keanu Reeves. We're going to go into battle. We're going to go every single step of the way. Him as the chairman of transportation, myself, the chairman of children and families, person with disability. This is law. It's so important. It's so important to keep families together, to make sure that when we fight for regional equity, it's not just the different parts of the state, but making sure that people can get to medical appointments, be able to take their kids out to have ice cream without fear, being able to go to the park, being able to get to work. Senate President, it's been an amazing ride this first session. And it is my honor to give you your flowers and to thank you for everything you have done, for the guidance, and also the belief that, yes, si se puede, and si se puede.
Sí se pudo. ¿Qué tengo deseo de gritar?
Today is the start of the change of the rest of your lives. So I take my hats off to all the organizers, the ones that were screaming outside que son chingones because of that. And respectfully, I'll be remiss if I didn't thank one of my closest friends that introduced me to this work that's no longer with us. And this is part of the legacy that we started. And that's my friend, I know he's here with us. Anybody that thinks that they cannot change, well, I'm living proof that, you know what, things can change for you if you believe in it, work hard for it, and you organize. Because you cannot take no power away from any person and any group of people as long as you put organizing in your DNA. You put organizing behind anything you want to do, miracles turn into reality. So congratulations to all of you. Thank you for this beautiful flowers, but I have to give you all back to you guys. Thank you.
Sí se puede.
So I'm Roxana Rivera, and I am the Executive Vice President of SEIU Local 32PJ and one of the co-chairs of Driving Families Forward. I want to thank Speaker Mariano and President Spilka for all the support, guidance, and courageous leadership you demonstrated that has led to this day. Today also wouldn't have happened without many other essential champions as well, not just for what they did this session, but what they have done over decades. There were times that some may have despaired that this day would never come.
Yes.
Despite a population of well over 200,000 residents of Massachusetts who work, who have families, support their communities, yet lack the ability to legally drive. For all of these folks, we say, sí se puede.
Sí se puede. Sí se pudo.
For all these communities, we say, yes, we can, and yes, we could. Certainly, as 32BJ, when this most recent effort started, we knew it wouldn't be easy. I remember talking about the possibility in 2018 at a dinner with Natalicia Tracy, the former executive director of the Brazilian Worker Center. Jointly with the Brazilian Worker Center, we were able to bring together immigrant advocacy and labor and begin to build out a coalition, driving families forward. We grew to 270 groups, including supporters in healthcare, in agriculture, in urban businesses, among economists and road safety experts, and eventually in law enforcement, who not only supported the bill, they worked to strengthen it. But behind all of this was the passionate commitment of impacted communities that demanded to be recognized. I want to thank our sponsors, State House Representative Tricia Carney-Bouvier, that became one of our lead sponsors on this bill, as she had been in previous efforts. Joined together with Representative Christine Barber, Senator Brendan Creighton, and Senator Adam Gomez, we worked to get the bill further along than in previous efforts. This session, we have seen fresh optimism and tenacious experience in the leadership of the House Speaker Ron Mariano and Senate President Karen Spilka, and in the Joint Transportation Committee with Chairman William Strauss, who eloquently defended the bill in debate after ushering it through the committee. The breadth of our coalition and the mix in the State House were crucial, but all of it may still have not been enough without the awareness that this terrible pandemic has brought us of how much we depend on each other, how integral immigrants are to our daily life, whatever their legal status. How could the people we depend on for grocery shelves being stocked, for taking care of our children and relatives, for cleaning our workplaces, for fixing our homes, how could these people who we call essential be denied the right of such a basic daily function of driving? Well, we refuse to be denied. So here in Massachusetts on July 1st, 2023, we will no longer be denied. Sí se puede.
Sí se puede. Sí se pudo.
We have more people to thank than I can To folks that make up our 32 BJ team, Cristel, Murieta Ruiz, and Barbara Ruiz. Strong women leaders such as Dalila, Asha, and Tracy, who come from our organizations, but whose passion remains to feel first. By so many journalists and everyone in the 270 organizations in the driving families forward and beyond, and in the immigrant communities across the state who knew that sí se
puede, sí se puede, sí se puede. Yes, we can. Yes, sí se pudo. Woo!
Now I'd like to introduce the other co-chair of the Driving Families Forward Coalition, Lenita Reason.
I don't have a written speech. I will say that I read one because I feel from my heart. I know, like, everyone that is here made it very easy for me because they are, thank so many people and I can just echo them. But I want to tell you something. We knew that the Senate was with us. And some of the House was with us. But we did not have everyone. The community want that. The 207 partners organization that was part of the Drive Families Forward Coalition. So but we know that we need the vote of the lawmakers.
Yeah.
And for many years I have fought this bill and many others. I still co-chair a different bill that is might come to you. But when we was invited to talk with the Speaker of the House, we was like, really? We have been so many times in front of the office of the previous Speaker of the House. He never spoke with us. So when Ron Mariano decided to talk with us and push us to work even harder than we was doing, that was our challenge. That was like, okay, we can show him. That's what he wants. He was more police officer. He was more chief of police. He was more representative. Okay, let's give it to him.
threw the ball in our court and we threw back to him. And he furious because everybody knows, many of you that are here, that are leaders that has been fought for many different laws, knew that our government, even if he thinks he is not our government, he has to understand that if he wants to be the governor of Massachusetts, he should do for everyone that is in Massachusetts.
Yay! Woo!
Okay, he decided not be our governor, but we have the Speaker of the House, we have the Senate President, we have our leading sponsors, we have everyone that is here, and some of the people that is not here that was with us, and they say we can do as well. If he doesn't want to be with us, too bad for him. We're gonna do it without him. So we did it. So, and I want to thank you, Julia, our attorney, because from Sunday, 2 p.m. I was getting a call on Sunday, 2 p.m. from our representative, Tricia Bouvier, and Saturday at 9 p.m. from Julia. Said, Anita, can we just go over there? So she worked so hard. Julia is an expert of all the 16 states and others that have transferred of immigrants. Julia, thank you so much. I know you worked so hard. So I want to thank you, the executive team that was with every Monday and all other days, like sometimes 10 times a week. Beside the table that was just said everything to us, like we had to do this, we had social media, and we thought there was a top of everything. So thank you, Phil First, Crystal, Eva, Carl. Thank you, Harris, I see you there. We have worked so hard. So, and I want to just thank you, all of you, my friends, I think my friend. Thank you, the Brazilian community, because you never gave up. The other communities that came here, that was outside, and my co-chair, Crystal, and Pablo. So thank you so much. Luisa, you're here to see, right? And Luisa told me, we have been fought this so many times that I can't believe I'm still here to see this become a law. So you're here to see it, and we did it. We did it. Thank you so much, every one of you, for making this thing possible. Thank you.
Take a second and just acknowledge the amazing timing that Speaker Mariano has on this bill. On February 16th, he's laughing because he knows what I'm saying. On February 16th, I welcomed my wife and I, Rachel, welcomed our firstborn, who's in the back room. You heard her crying before. Frida Raquel is 3 months old. She was born right in the middle of the hospital. And the president, of course, couldn't be left behind and said, Cinco de Mayo from now on will be celebrated. We will vote on Cinco de Mayo. In all seriousness, I do want to acknowledge Chairman Strauss. He's been named. I do want to thank Chief Ties, who was critical, and Chief Roy Bass, who was critical, moving the major cities chiefs. That's covering two-thirds of the Massachusetts population. I also want to recognize the nearly 20 years of coalitions who organized. Some of you all are here today, and we stand on the shoulders of their work. and we move forward in learning those tough lessons. I also want to recognize the Driving Family Forward Steering Committee. I want to recognize Mike Costello and our friends over at Smith Costello Crawford. I want to also recognize Harris Brewman and the SAH State Council. And before we move on to the signing of the veto parchment, I do want to acknowledge the affected community. Because of the leadership of our co-chairs, 32BJ, Brazilian Worker Center, we made sure that this coalition moved with every step, centering voices of our affected immigrants. And today we are privileged and have the honor to welcome Clemente from Western Massachusetts, who is a person who is affected by this bill and will speak to us a little bit about that. Please welcome Clemente.
Gracias. Thanks everyone for all the process. Just to recognize, this is a little bit intimidated. First time in front of cameras and so many people, and in the State House. Anyways, hi everyone. A few years back, I was driving in front of the DMV in Pittsburgh, Massachusetts, and I had one wish, is to be able to go in there and apply for a driver's license. And of course, this came from the experience of the backlashes and the struggle that I've had with driving without having a driver's license and experiencing all the limitations that it gave me. My name is Clemente, and I am originally from Guatemala. I have been in the States for 13 years, and here is where my daughter was born. She turns 9 this year. I left home seeking a better life, just like many people who come to the US. I left home because I couldn't have a life down there, and arrived in the US with little education and somewhat naive to confront a new place. Just like many people, I was seeking to run away from and survive a precarious condition back home. Thanks to my background, I did not ask for much to be satisfied, and I have been able to thrive because of this. I remember being so high-spirited when I came. The contrasting difference from rural Guatemala to the Berkshires was enormous. Because of this, I remember being so excited and telling people in the local community that the US is actually a land of opportunities. I remember how many locals disagreed with me. However, years later, I was beginning to establish myself. I experienced some backlash that somewhat reminded me of why local people would frown every time I said the US was a land of opportunity. Many of those moments had to do with driving for me. Just like the moment in which one day I had to pick up my daughter from school after work, and I was pulled over and my car was taken away from me. I can only say that the end was a nightmare. This is only one of the many moments I've had, and they all serve as a reminder that perhaps I also did not belong in this part of the world. Nowadays, I've been able to start a new life in the Berkshires, where I live. I graduated from college, and I am the proud owner of a small landscaping business that I have high hopes for. I am also involved in the community, trying to help others like myself thrive. I have witnessed firsthand how limitation can be a major burden on people coming out of poverty like myself. And as a person with strong collective values, I just can't let this happen. And I can see many of you here why you organize. Thank you. That is why I am very grateful to all the people who made the Work and Family Mobility Act possible, knowing that people like myself will be able to apply for a driver license soon gives a newcomer a welcoming hope. Previous to this, an immigrant's experience with the driver license was just simply a reminder of the struggle and limitation one encounters. one more obstacle to face despite language, education, and many other obstacles. But thanks to all of you who made this possible, now this experience can be a welcoming sign that an immigrant can actually have a tool to ease their burdens, and it feeds the notion that anyone can actually make it in America. And to me, I have to say this is the spirit of America that learned from college. Thank you.
Thank you for your courage and for giving voice to a community that needs and that will now be able to step out of the shadows of the war. At this time, we would like to invite Speaker Mariano and Senate President Spilka. We're going to sign two copies of the veto parchment at the table. Please go forward.
Hola mi gente, así es como una ley
La firma oficial de la licencia de conducir.
el Work and Family Mobility Act para que se vuelva oficialmente ley y todo inmigrante, no importando su estatus migratorio, pueda aplicar por una licencia.
Can you guys put the phone down so we can get it, please? Phone down.
¡Sí se pudo!
¡Sí se pudo! ¡Sí se pudo! ¡Sí se pudo! ¡Sí se pudo! ¡Sí se pudo!
Y así oficialmente
Aprobada la licencia en el estado de Massachusetts.
La firma oficial ya se dio ley. Ya la firma oficial se dio. Hola, hola, estamos muy felices. Ya la firma oficial ya está lista para la ley. Es un honor ser parte y testigo de esta firma oficial, de esta ceremonia. Mercedes está tomando fotos. Sí.
Photo ops, photo ops.
Before everybody leaves, we have one more piece of recognition that we would like to deliver